Three
Yeah,
scoring possessions.
yeah. Um, and I mean, I had the ball. The first play was a drop by Torrey Smith, but then we lost connection before I even had my second play. So I mean, pretty much, I just want to let him know that I'm not fucking bullshitting him. I'm not ducking. I'm not doing nothing fucking fugazi or lame. I just want this to play out as fair as possible. And
And in most cases, the way that it's done, I mean, just to kind of guide you here, um, when you can, in most weeks you have time to play a quarter and a half. It might not be recorded; it'll be a forced win for whoever, but you play the quarter and a half left. Result of that, you pile on that it was
yeah,
a 28-10.
I even messaged
You
him and
just add
say like
those.
I would spot you the 18. Let's just play like the half, and then I'll give you the force win if I don't meet the spread. But I mean, I never heard
See,
back from him, so
that's the problem. Is everybody has different schedules. I mean, some people get busy, family stuff comes up. I mean, obviously, we all know about the family stuff in this league lately.
yep.
It happens.
hmm
My
The only
thing
thing that
is,
confuses
let
me
us
is
know.
that he had already told me that he was going to be available in the evenings, and he does other leagues, so like I know he's probably invested in being on his Xbox a little bit. And I mean, we have Slack. You get it as like a text message if someone DMs you, unless you have it set up otherwise. Like it alerts your phone. Um, I don't know. Maybe his phone got
Me,
fucked up.
I think
Shit
me personally
happens
in this
every day, so
situation,
I don't know.
I think in this situation, since the lead wasn't so dramatic and you did have 12 minutes left uh, to come back, and he never got back to you today, I feel like this can be addressed like a conflict of schedule game where you just sim and get it done that way. Just a even sim and let the computer decide um, the winner.
That was kind of the way I was leaning, but I just didn't want him to feel like I was bullshitting him. I wanted to make it like address very clearly that I was trying to like make this work and shit. So
In my opinion, I I guess I'm probably leaning. I would probably be leaning towards the other side to it, and this is why it's kind of something that we need to vote on. I don't know if it's on as a league or as
well,
admins,
we can vote on it in
but
admins or the league itself. Like right now, we have an hour until we advance, and the Rams said that he's gonna sim his game against the Raiders. So we have time right now if you guys want to put up a vote on the general or in the admins page or both. So
because it's kind of in that gray area
and I
here
can see
where
both ways. Like absolutely. Like I mean, he
I just don't want it to be snowball. Like you
exactly.
get to that point where it starts snowballing where okay, say
And
somebody
that's
else is
why it's such a
down
big deal to me
18 or
right now.
20.
Like,
Exactly, cuz if somebody's down 20 points and they say, "Well, I lost connection," well, we got to play the half again or we got to, you start leaving that open gray area and everybody starts kind of using it to their
hmm
advantage when they want to. That's the
it's
thing
just
I
been
worry
almost
about.
24 hours since I hadn't heard from him, and before that, it had been very easy to contact him.
See, that's the thing. He did contact me last night about it, and I know he was trying to get in touch with you last night, but the schedules get all screwed up, so it's kind of hard for me to go against him on it. He came to me right away
Well, his
about
last
it. So,
message was something about like, yeah, I'm running a new base defense and having like a hard time about it because I was talking to him about the game. But I mean, we're kind of getting off track a little bit. We can throw that up to vote and let that be handled. um, so let's see. We got 3 more games to talk about here for the rest of Week 5. So we have the Steelers at Ravens.
Steelers.
Steelers.
no offense to the Ravens. I mean, until he proves us completely wrong, Steelers have been cream of the crop for a while. I mean, he was the AFC representative for a reason. Um, if he comes out and shows us otherwise, you get a lot of respect on the next show. But until then, yeah, I gotta go with Steelers too.
Okay. Let's see. Our next game would be the Titans at the Bills. The Oilers, excuse me. The Oilers at the Bills.
Titans.
Well,
Oh yeah, Titans for sure. No, well, it's weird because Titans always plays better to his competition. He actually was in the game against the Steelers last year until the end. I mean, that was probably one of his toughest defensive. Like he couldn't get any of his offense rolling. The Titans. I mean
mhm.
the Steelers against the Titans. And he did the same thing to the Bengals until like late in that game. And it's just like, you know what? It's gonna be closer than everybody thinks.
He's got a definite
I don't
chip
think
on
the
his shoulder after that loss too.
not really.
No, I
No,
mean like
I
it's a
know.
close game. You dropped it. You come into the next game like you're like, damn, I lost a close game last week. I got this. I can do it. Like fuck, let's go. Like that's kind of what I mean as in a chip.
This won't be closer, but I still think Savage will win by about 13 or 14.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna pick the Bills anyway, but I was just playing devil's advocate for a second there.
Yeah, it's my best buddy, but I got to be realistic, and he knows that. You know,
And then our last game, this is a dark horse game of the week for the NFC North, considering how competitive that division is right now. The Vikings head to the Monsters of the Midway.
see, that's the other reason. Like with that game result that you have, this is gonna be huge because you
Yeah,
can go into this is if he's 3-1, this is for the division lead. Or if he's 2-1, if he loses this game, all of a sudden he's knocked down what 2 games.
you can say the
So
same
that's
towards my outcome of the game as well. If I win, if it was simmed and I won, I would be 2-2 against a 1-3 Seahawks team, and if the Cardinals lost and I won, I would be 3-2 to their 2-2, and I'd have a half game lead in the division.
yeah. It's
With
just it's one of those
so
things
it's
where
yeah,
if you were up the 18 points, how would you feel? I mean, I guess I'm playing devil's advocate on this,
well, no, that's what
like you were saying.
I want to hear from everyone too.
If the roles
And
were reversed, well, how would you feel about it? Because that's how I look at things like this.
but I feel like I would be trying to get in contact with the other person at the same time.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'll give you
I
that.
think it just varies.
Like
It
if
just
if
varies
I
with
was
users.
if I was up 18 points, I would be getting in contact. Like he never even asked if I was wanting to run it back at that exact moment. Like he never even once
mean,
asked me that.
If he said he couldn't make it to play the game today, would you have been cool with taking the loss? That's basically what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, say, and it's just all about getting in contact with people, and that's what I'm trying to tell everybody in the league. Like, you know what? It doesn't matter if your schedules are busy or whatnot. Take 5 minutes out of your time. Just tell them, hey guys, I got a busy schedule today. I can't make it. We're gonna have to sim it or whatnot. Just keep people posted. That's it.
Chef was wanting to know if he had just messaged me on here. Excuse me. And let's see, I gotta pull up his. There it is. He wants to know about, work schedule, shit like that. We could put together like a little document. That way, I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
that'd
it
actually
might
be pretty cool.
yeah, that way we can at least get an idea of when someone obviously can't make it, like, oh, he works third shift or something simple. Um, Hell, that could even be put in your about me info on your Slack profile. You could just put that in there. That could be right with your time zone and everything. That could be the easiest solution to that issue. Um,
We had another thing in the podcast channel. I know. I don't know if it's just a buddy of Brown's. Basically, you guys said that Saints and are pretty close, but he was saying that he runs up the scores. The Browns or Saints are
oh
calling out the
yeah,
Browns for running up the
yeah.
scores. Now, okay, I don't know if he's just messing
Correction.
around or
Wait. Correction. I think what he was stating because Bengals got into it with Browns and he started saying that Browns runs up the scores and he said what Steelers was doing was kind of questionable too when he first got in here. I think that's what he was referencing.
Now, I know a lot of these games are getting high-scoring games in the first half, and I know that's kind of causing a little bit of the friction. Now, I think a lot of us know what happens in a
What?
lot of these games is the defenses get a bunch of the points, like pick sixes. So it's really hard to kind of tell from the stats of running up the score because teams are getting desperate. They're getting pissed that they're not scoring any points. They're throwing pick sixes. I guess what it comes down to is if it seems like somebody's run up the score trying to, throw for 80 points, it's pretty obvious, But if it's your defense scoring a lot of the majority of the points because the other guy's just getting frustrated, it's hard to call out the guy for taking what the other guy's just making mistakes. I mean, I know firsthand because I got my ass kicked by the Steelers. Second half of that game, he pretty much ran the ball, punted the ball, or took field goals. But he was already up huge points. So in my case, I've seen it firsthand. I self-destructed. I gave him more points that I should never have, but that's my fault. So running up the score, you got to understand there's two sides of it. And if it's, like yesterday, the Bengals, I think he put up 400 yards passing, 340 yards for Perriman, but he was trying to come back in the game. So you can't, you got to look at it on both sides of it, and we're not going to blame the Bengals for trying to get back into a game for
No.
running up his stats with one of his receivers.
Of course, you're
So-
going to try and get it to your best guy if you're trying to get back in the game.
Do it what works.
Exactly.
But I just want everybody to know that because I know a lot of people have been asking that, especially some of the new users that haven't seen some of these guys. We've been in this league for 3 years now. We know what everybody's about. We know who's good. And when the scores get high, it just happens sometimes.
Yep.
But
And the Steelers are known
Don't be
for
afraid to
putting
call
up
out.
40.
yeah, and don't be afraid to call out people, especially the admins. I mean, if it's happening, let us know. But we'll be the first ones to tell you, hey, that was legit because you were an idiot for throwing 10 picks to him. Or you were fumbling the ball every time, dropping back. I mean, but we will look at it. So don't be afraid to call them out. So, but I think we were on the last game here. Sorry, we kind of went off in a couple of different tangents here. But
There's a couple segues there, but Vikings at Bears, I'm going to go... I think the Bears can handle this one at home.
that Vikings defense is tough, though, man. Like,
See, I
So
don't
one
think
thing
they're
you
I
gotta
don't
give-
think they're that tough. I was doing a pretty good job. I almost busted like a 70-yard TD run on them if I hadn't stepped out of bounds. Before halftime, when I made one dumb throw right with like 20 seconds left, I was like 11 for 11 with Bradford. I think the Vikings can be exposed with their blitz, and I think the Bears has been around long enough to see that.
did we lose the Bills here? Savage? You still with us,
No,
bro?
I'm still here. No, I'm still here.
That's
I'm going
that's just my
Vikings.
take on it.
I'm going Vikings because I want the Bears to prove me wrong. Like he's done just enough to win that division, and and get in the playoffs. And it's time for him to step up. He's one
Yeah.
of the better teams in the NFC, but it's time for him to show it.
Yeah, this
Now
is
he's got a tough
definitely like
division.
a barometer game for the rest of the division race. Whoever wins this game's winning the division, long run.
What do you
I
think,
think.
Savage?
I'll go with Bears, but I think it's gonna be a close victory if the Bears win.
Yeah, I think
like
it'll be a
fair
close
enough.
game, but I just think that he's got the veteran edge that's in our league. that's the only reason I'm gonna give him that one, the extra nod. Also, before we get towards the end of this and stop completely, we want to shout out D Waters, the Eagles user. He's been putting a lot of time and effort into the daddy leagues, and it's been a tremendous help. So thank you.
And thank you for DGP. Appreciate it.
Sorry, guys. I lost my mic on that one. I know you were shouting out for the Eagles there.
Yep, just give him a good looks on helping us out with the daddy leagues, and he's got a demo league for us so we can try and get some different like a different